Hey NHSM, what's up? I'm Danny and I've been playing the piano and also I've been playing a lot of video games too and recently I've gotten a lot of homework from my teachers. So yeah, that's awesome.
What's up, NHSM? My name is Nicholas, and I've been spending my quarantine taking walks, writing a novel, laughing at Pinterest pins with my sister, and spending time with family, so it's been okay.
Hey NHSM, I'm Megan, and what I've been doing at home with my spare time is some home workouts.
Hi NHSM, my name's Jamie, and for my quarantine, I've been going on bike rides.
What's up, NHSM? We are so excited to have you back this week with us because we've got so much prepared. We've got worship, a talk, but we're going to start with a game.
This game's called Camp Egg Roulette, and we want you to play along with us.
It's game time.
Okay, how this game's gonna work, we have a carton of eggs right here. Some of them are raw, some of them are boiled. We are gonna watch as slowly a logo from an old camp is revealed on the screen. We're in a trivia race to guess who can figure out first which camp it was, what year it's from, and what the theme was. And the loser gets an egg to the head. We don't know if it's gonna be raw or boiled. Although I feel like this is gonna be a little unfair because Eric does not have hair.
Yes, I'm actually a little bit worried for Mariah because she's got all that hair and she has to go to work after this, so we'll see what happens.
All right, round one.
Let's do this. Okay, we got a bluebird. I don't remember a Camp Bluebird. Okay, there's the Triforce, Pokeball. Okay, I think I know what it is. It's Club Mid for sure, 2016. And because of all like the Nintendo symbols, I want to say Nintendo Land? It's not Nintendo Land? Oh, the guys are gonna kill me.
Okay, let's keep it going.
I hope you get it wrong.
Okay, so it's Club Mid 2016 virtual reality.
That's your guess, virtual reality?
Okay, so.
Okay, we both got it wrong.
Got that one.
Oh no! Okay, here we go. Oh, okay. It's a hard-boiled egg. We're okay.
I was lucky.
Let's do the next one.
I heard it, I thought it was running.
A little crunchy. All right, here we got the next one. We got the next one. Here we go.
Round two.
All right, we got a little red and gray. I feel like I've seen this one.
I know. This is. Oh no, I don't know. It's Jurassic Park. Yes, it's Jurassic Park. It's Black Lake, and it's 2017. 2017. Yeah, that's right.
What? I get another egg? No! Oh, you didn't give me enough time. Okay, we're gonna go with this one. Oh. I'm not happy about this right now. This is definitely egg in my face. All right, let's keep things going while we're here. Okay, we got some. We got all sorts of colors here. Actually, it's only about two of them. Okay, I recognize this. I think it's okay. I do know that. Yeah, I'm not sure on the year of this one.
Yeah, I mean it's Club Mid.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
2016.
Okay, that's wrong. Okay, so now I get to guess. It's the Club Mid, the Upside Down Kingdom, and it's 2017. Yes, I got it right. Egg on you, please. Yes. Oh my goodness. We got her, guys. We got her.
All right. Round
Okay, here we go. This is the next one. It's disgusting. All right, okay, so we got palm trees. Recognize that. Okay, we got some crosses in there. Ooh.
Go.
I'm too slow.
So it's Black Lake, it's Survivor, and it's 2016.
Okay, Black Lake, Survivor, 2015. Oh, I win! Yes! Have another egg, please.
Alright, we're good. These aren't very boiled, but I think they're still.
Okay, we got one more egg left. Alright.
That's on me. Alright, last one.
I already know what it is. The future is bright. 2000. 18, I mean, that's Club Mid, my friends. That is Club Mid.
Oh, that's me, okay.
Yep, that's you again. Oh.
I thought that one was boiled, actually. I miscounted in my head, so yeah.
Okay, guys, that was really fun. Obviously, it's not about winning or losing. It's about having fun. So that's all we have for you. We hope you enjoyed that. Enjoy the talk.
Time to go shower.
Hey guys, my name's Kelly, and I'm really excited to hang out with you guys, virtually, of course. And I was thinking about you, because I don't know that many of you personally, so I was trying to think about what you might be going through as middle school and high school students right now. And I started thinking about my own middle school and high school experiences. And I realized I bet our experiences were quite different. For example, when I was in high school, I did not get my cell phone until I was 16. And even then, it didn't have internet, and I had to pay per text. You all would be broke if you had to pay per text. I also remember in high school, my friend asked me if I had ever heard of Google. And I thought, what in the world is a Google? Life was a little different. I lived in high school before social media. Facebook didn't come out until I was a sophomore in college. So I thought, our experiences are a little bit different. And I certainly didn't live through a pandemic. In fact, I was talking to my 92-year-old grandma the other day, and she said, in regards to this pandemic, well, we've never seen anything like this before. And I thought, I have never heard those words out of my grandma's mouth before. She's seen everything. She's 92. But here we are. And I started thinking, what might I have experienced in middle school or high school that would be even remotely similar to what you're experiencing now? And while there are quite a few differences, I think that there was one event, my junior year of high school. Here's a photo of me, my junior year of high school. And I think that this event maybe elicited some of the same feelings that people are feeling now. Feelings of anxiousness, fear, an unknown. That event, like I said, was my junior year, September 11th to be, or as a matter of fact. You may have heard of it. I remember walking upstairs to get ready for school just like any other morning, and our phone rang, the old school type, the one that was like plugged into a wall. And my mom said, turn on the TV. I remember exactly where I sat as the horror of those events unfolded that morning. And I remember crying big, ugly tears, as for what may have been the first time in my life, I realized that I was not immune to the evil in this world, that there were things that were happening on U.S. soil that I had always said, that can only happen over there. And all of a sudden, it was here. And that made me fearful. And I remember crying those big, ugly tears and saying, I just want to go home. And my middle school age brothers at the time made relentless fun of me because they said, Kelly, you are home. And I said, not this home, I want to go to heaven. Of course, they continued making fun of me. But I think that day I realized this world's broken and it's painful. And so how do we trust God in the midst of circumstances that are painful and they're hard, whether it be 9/11, a pandemic, or something else that you're experiencing in your life? Well, to look at that, I think we're going to head to Daniel. I do not claim to be an expert on the book of Daniel, but if you've grown up in the church or you've read a children's Bible, you've likely heard of Daniel in the lion's den. You may have even heard about the writing on the wall. And you may have heard about three guys, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and a fiery furnace. And that's who we're going to look at today. Before we hop into that story, I want to give you a little bit of background on Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. First of all, they were from in or around Jerusalem, and the Babylonians, who were kind of a big deal at the time, came and captured parts of Jerusalem. And they said, you know what? We want your best. We want your brightest. We want your best looking, your smartest. We want those people. We have a job for them to do. And so Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and others were taken in captivity to Babylon. This wasn't a cross-country promotion. This wasn't something that they were excited about, you guys. This was them being taken away from their homes, from their friends, from their families, removed from everything they knew, taken out of their culture, and away from people that abided by Jewish law, and they had to learn how to live out their faith in this new culture, this new environment. And there were lots of challenges. One of which was when the king, King Nebuchadnezzar, decided that he was going to build a huge statue, an idol, and he wanted, every time the music played, people to bow down and worship. Well, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego knew, as God-fearing men, that they couldn't do this. God had said, "Do not worship anyone but me. Do not serve an idol." So they knew they couldn't obey the king. Well, they also knew that the alternative was death. And so they were faced with a really hard decision. At the same time, some other wise men decided that they wanted to make life difficult for these Jewish boys. So they said, "Hey, king, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, not bowing down." King Nebuchadnezzar, he's kind of a roller coaster of a man, very interesting. He had a pride issue. He did not like this. So he said, "Hey, guys, come here. One more shot. I heard you didn't bow down. You got one shot. Bow down now. We're good. You don't? Fiery furnace. Your choice." Talk about a trial. Talk about a struggle. Talk about a hard thing. These men were faced with deny your God and worship this God or die. And in Daniel 3, we see the response. Daniel 3:16 says this: "Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego replied to the king, 'O Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves before you in this matter. If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God we serve is able to save us from it, and he will rescue us from your hand, O king. But even if he does not, we want you to know, O king, that we will not serve your gods or worship the image of gold that you have set up.'" That's a bold statement, you guys. They said, our God can save us, but even if he doesn't, we'll still not serve your God because we believe he is worthy of our worship and not your idol. Well, prideful King Nebuchadnezzar said, "Don't like it. Fiery furnace, heat it up. Hot as it goes. I want these guys incinerated." So they did. It was so hot that when they bound Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego up, and they had them tied up and taken into the furnace, the soldiers that were carrying them in there died. Guys, this was hot. King Nebuchadnezzar was not messing around. He said, "We're done." Threw Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in. But, much to King Nebuchadnezzar's dismay, he said to his men, "Did I not throw 3 bound men into the fiery furnace?" His men said, "Yes." He said, "Then why do I see 4 unbound men walking around in the fire?" You guys, God saved them. But what I find interesting is that when Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came out, not only were they not burned, they weren't even singed. In fact, they didn't even smell like fire. God protected them from it all. I've sat next to a fire before, and I smelled like it for a week. This is miraculous. But you see, God didn't save them before the fire. In fact, they were in struggle, in trial. They were taken from their homes, and God didn't necessarily save them from that. And in fact, he didn't save them from having to go in the fire. He met them, and he met them in it. And so I think that we can take great encouragement from that God is with us in our struggles. 2 things that I think are of note. 1, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego knew who God was. They knew that the God of Israel, the God that they served, the same God that we serve, was the God who had rescued them out of Egypt. He knew that they had walked across the Jordan on dry land. He knew that they had conquered enemies that they really had no business conquering. They knew that God was worthy of their trust because he was powerful. And they also had each other. They had each other to rely on. And I don't know, I wasn't there, but I would imagine that when they were before the king, they looked at each other and said, "We're in this together, right? All 3 of us, we know that we trust the same God," and they had each other. I think we can take from that 2 things to apply to our life. 1, know who God is and what he has said and what his promises are. Read your Bible and remind yourself of the times in your own life that God has been faithful to his promises. Ask people who have walked with Jesus longer, hey, how has God been faithful to his promises in your life? And so when you hit hard times, you can say, actually, I know that my God is worth relying on. Secondly, God has given you a great gift in community. And while we're distant right now, it's still a great gift to have each other to rely on. If you need encouragement, if you need hope, if you need just someone to remind you of the truth of God's word, reach out. What trusting God is relying on ourselves. It's not saying, if I just muster up all this strength and all this courage, then we can do this. No, trusting God is not that. It is not trying to do it all on our own. In fact, sometimes trusting God looks like saying, hey God, who have you put in my life that I can call on to help me in this situation? Who can encourage me right now? Who might be able to help me get out of an unsafe situation? So sometimes I think that trusting God is remembering that. Here's the thing. We know that our God is worthy of trust. Jesus said that we will have troubles. This side of heaven, it's going to be hard, but he has overcome the world. And he has promised that he will be with us always. So we have him in this. But there's another thing, and I think that it's what I recognized that September 11th morning. There's a promise of something else. There's a promise that there is something more. And the same God who is faithful to Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego is faithful to his promises to us today, not only to be with us in our struggles right now, but also that he will return and he will make all things right. That the fires in our life, eventually, he will remove us from. The brokenness and sin that engulf our lives right now won't be there anymore. And that's where I place my hope. And I hope that you guys can too. And I hope that you guys can find some peace in that this week. Thanks for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. I hope to see your faces in person soon. But until then, here we are. Thanks, guys.
That is who you are. never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working.
Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. 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 Oh, that is who you are. That is who you are. That is who you are. That is who you are.
Hey guys, thank you so much for joining us in worship. I'm always really encouraged by that. Something I also want to encourage you on is to think about something that even Kelly said. You know, you think about these guys in the furnace and how God was with them. He's going to be with us too when we're going through our hard times, and He's a God that doesn't break His promises.
Guys, if you have any questions about the message you just heard, you want to talk to us, or you have any prayer requests, text the number on the screen. We love to hear from you, and we always love to be praying for you.
Yeah, and kind of a big announcement. Well, for DeYoSoy, we've been meeting with our groups, so let's continue pressing into that on Google Hangouts. And then with HSM and Rev, we're taking our community online. So you can find all the details on that in the link below.
Make sure you join us this weekend as David continues his talk on the day God died.
See you next week, guys.